Good morning and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and this is my co-host, Cream the Cat. Hey, Cream, you want to say hi to the camera? No? Okay. Whatever. Today, we have for you Transformers Alternators Shockblast. Shockblast, not Shockwave. Shockblast. Have no idea why they could... Oh, right, yeah, because this came out about the time that online media Shockwave was a thing you could download to your computer. So I guess they had some problems with the Shockwave uh, visual services thing. Forget what that was even called, but I remember having to download Shockwave all the time. And we got Shockblast here. He came out in, I think, 2006. I remember I got him in my first year at the University of South Alabama and absolutely loved this guy. There were some people in the nerd club making fun of me because I got this transformer and I was opening it in the nerd club and they're all playing Halo and stuff and they're like, "What is that?" And I went, "It's a Mazda 8 called Shockwave." And they went, "But the box says Shockblast." And I went, "Yeah, but the box is a liar. It's Shockwave." This was one of my favorite evil Decepticons. I absolutely think Shockwave is just he is the reason that the Decepticons are so feared. Like Megatron's a bit crazy. Megatron goes out and does things, but Shockwave is methodical. Shockwave is logical. He is what you would call in Dungeons and Dragons term lawful evil. Megatron is chaotic evil. He does things. Um, Shockwave, when he does things, that's just because he's had it. He's prepared for it for 100 years, and when he does it, there is no way that you can get out of it unless you are very lucky, or Deus Ex Machina happens to you. Yeah, the good old story-driven reasons why someone would survive Shockwave. So, if you wouldn't mind, please like, share, and subscribe as we get into this wonderful little Mazda 8. Zoom, zoom, as the little kid in the commercials used to say. Do you remember the Mazda 8 commercials? I remember the Mazda 8 commercials. They were everywhere. Mazda 6 and Mazda 8. Mazda 6 for the everyday person. Mazda 8 for that person that wanted to rip into some asphalt and do some drag racing and city racing and stuff like that. Like Mazda 8 was where it was at. And people, they were everywhere. A couple of my friends had Mazda 8s. They each had a Mazda 8. One was silver and one was candy apple red, which I have to say, you get a Mazda 8 and a candy apple red is a beautiful color. I do enjoy the fact, when I could see, I bought this guy before I went blind, and I remember his purple paint just being really cool because it's like a metallic purple, if I'm remembering it right. And it's just really unique. And so let's get into this guy and start talking about him. So we'll start from the beginning, and this is actually going to be more interesting because I've actually ridden in Mazda 8s. I'm familiar with this car, unlike the other vehicles I've discussed so far. I've never ridden in a Jeep. You know that? I'm just thinking about it. Like, I've actually never set foot in a Jeep and drove it around, even though it's my favorite vehicle. I have never ridden in one. Not at all. No one's asked me to. It's sad. Sad, I know. So, this is a Mazda 8, and it is a well done I think it's 132 scale vehicle. This is basically what you would get out of a model kit. When you finish building the model kit of an RX, Mazda 8, you would get this. And I keep wanting to say RX 78 because I'm a Gundam fan. And the Mazda 8 and RX 78 just kind of rhyme. It just keeps popping in my head for some reason. So let's start from the front of this thing and we'll go to the back. Now, the front has this big, wide grille across the front of the vehicle. It's a really nice grille. Though you would think there'd be something printed in it, but there's nothing. It doesn't have a front license plate, but it does have some really nice inset turning signals on either side of the grille. And then up here, they got the headlights that are kind of angled towards the front wheels. They move closer to the center and then out towards the front wheels. The hood on the vehicle is really nicely done, really well done, and I like the fact that there's this bump in it, which in the Mazda 8s, the bump is there. That bump that Shockwave's head will come out of is actually there in the Mazda 8s. Now let's see if we can get this engine compartment open. This was actually the hardest engine thing to talk about and get open because of the way it's assembled. It's just a pain in the butt, and you can barely lift it. And it's kind of sad that you can barely lift it, but you can get your fingers in there and feel the engine structures that they've printed in there. But this is this one has the worst hood out of all of the Transformers. If I open it anymore, I may actually disconnect it from its moorings, and then I would spend 20 minutes trying to get it to snap back into place. So that's the inside of the hood. It's got a nice little engine. I wish I could show it off more, but I am absolutely worried about having to deal with fixing the hood problem again. On the windshield here, we've got etched out uh, windshield wipers, really fun, and the windshield's not too bad itself. It's really a nice feeling windshield. There's I mean, honestly, there's not going to be many really unique textures on this because this is a Mazda 8, and if you've ever laid your hands on a Mazda 8, you got it. If you haven't, I'll continue explaining it to you. So down here we've got a wheel well hubcap with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spokes on it. Wait, is that 6 or 5? Let's see. 5. It's got 5 spokes. It's a star pattern wheel. I bet you have to spin it. And I'm pretty sure underneath there is a purple colored brake pad for to ensure the brakes are useful. The wheels do rotate. Whenever you turn one wheel, the other one turns. That took me a bit to get lined up. Oh man, that is the hardest part of this transformation when getting into vehicle mode, is lining the steering up. It is not easy. It is not easy at all. I wish that they had done more like Wind Charger with the magnets. That is a much easier way to do it. But his front compartment is really tight and confined, and it is difficult to get everything together. I found that I like the vehicles that the front compartment becomes the legs more than the front compartment becomes the like the front of the body. It's just easier to transform that front compartment that way. Now moving on here to the back, or to the side of the vehicle, we've got the door panel. There's a little handle etched in there. It's got a little rear view mirror. There's a nice little edge going on there. We've got the runner board across the bottom of the vehicle. And this is it's just really nice. Smooth, sleek lines going all the way across. You can tell that this car can zoom, that's for sure. Moving over here to the back wheel, we've got another wheel with a star pattern hubcap, and pretty good. Moving around here to the back of the vehicle. Oh wait, before we get there, let's talk about we'll get into that. Back of the vehicle, because we're experiencing the exterior before we experience the interior. So the back tailgate or trunk area has a nice little spoiler on the top of it. Really cool. Of course, the trunk opens a little further than the hood can open, and there's actually a little negative space in there, so you could put something small in there. A little Mazda symbol etched out, like on the front. I forgot to mention that on the hood. There is a Mazda symbol. No, wait. I'm wrong. It's only in the back where there's a Mazda symbol etched out right above the hood. I mean, the right at the trunk. And I distinctly remember seeing that symbol every time we had to get our swimming gear out of the trunk of the car when we were going down to the springs. So constantly seeing that symbol as we're opening the trunk. Coming down here to the underside of the trunk, we've got the exhaust vents for the vehicle. There's a license plate that says Shockblast with a Decepticon symbol. I forget how they spelled Shockblast, but it does say it is Shockblast, but it's most likely going to be all vowels missing, like ASHKBLST or something like that will be across, and there's of course going to be a Decepticon symbol. How some states have the state symbol. These had a little Decepticon symbol for the state. I thought that was fun. And yeah, let's talk about the interior now. I like how the spoiler feels and how all of this just comes together nicely. Now, my friends, one had a spoiler-free trunk, and the other one had a spoiler on their trunk, but it wasn't as raised up as this one. It was just flat on top of the trunk. And I've always liked the raised up spoilers more. I think they're just better at it. So let's go ahead and open this guy up. I wanted to also mention I'm missing the door for one side. I'm missing the rear door because I've moved more than 10 times since I've owned this, and it got lost to the nethers. You know, don't don't ask your friends to help you pack things. Ask your friends to help you move things, but never, never, never ask anyone to help you pack things, because they'll forget to pack things, like, oh, the door fell off, and then they'll just leave the door on the floor or something like that. They'll never pack it. So just be aware of that. If you want your stuff packed nicely and cleanly, do it yourself, then get your friends to come and help you move all the boxes. That's the correct way to do it. That is what a lot of moving has taught me in my life. So let's go ahead and open one side up, and we're going to open this side up over here. We're going to open all the doors so that we get a nice amount of light coming in here, so you can see the interior. And this is a big interior. This is a nice interior. You've got 5 seats here. 4 seats. 1 and 2, and then there's like this middle area in the back. I like how these seats happen. I like how the parts of the robot leg actually become the seats. It's really, the rear seat transformation is really fun. Moving over here to the front seats, we've got some really nice designer front seats here. They've got some rivets printed on the backs of them. They feel rugged, industrialized. It feels like it's not a very comfortable seat to sit in, but it's a perfect racing seat. And that's what I imagine Shockwave would have in his vehicle mode, is not something that's very comfortable for people, but something that is lightweight and allows him to go faster than Jazz, the other Mazda 8. So we've got the little typical steering wheel that's rubberized, and in here in the little control area in the middle of the seats, we've got a emergency brake, and we've got the gear shift, and then on the actual dashboard we've got a little edge that's etched out to be the glove box, and we've got did they actually include the vents in the interior? Sometimes they do. Yeah, they did. They included vents. I can feel the tiny vents. That's always fun. I really love the attention to detail that these vehicles had for the interior. There's a lot going on in here, and you can kind of feel that they even went so far as to sort of sculpt in mats on the floorboards. You can't get your finger down there too well, but there is a mat on the floorboard down there. You can feel its edges, and that's amazing. This car is amazing. The detail that they managed to put in here is amazing. And you have to ask yourself the question of, wow, what happened? Because they did so good with these. And then, for many years afterwards, the Transformers just kept going downhill. This was a peak. This was a peak of Transformers, the Alternator series, and it went downhill, especially for me. Like, I just haven't liked anything in Transformers until I came across Siege, and I was like, whoa, finally a Transformers line that I'm interested in since Alternators. I just haven't been interested in anything Transformers since Alternators ended. Until I came across Siege, and the War for Cybertron Siege toy line really spoke to me. And the Studio Series Devastator from Revenge of the Fallen. That one spoke to me too. I like the little one. All right, so let's close up these doors and give you my final thoughts on this vehicle mode. And this is a fun one. I'm closing the doors up. Hey, get all of yourselves measured up. Yeah. The rear of the thing popped off. There we go. Wonderful, wonderful vehicle. I like it. I like the fact that it's a Mazda 8. It's one of the few vehicles that I'll be talking about during this series of videos that I've actually sat my butt into. I've ridden in the passenger seat of a Mazda 8 many, many times, and I have to tell you, it's a very comfortable car. And it's a sleek car. It's a car that a low-ranking executive may have. It seems like the right type of vehicle for Shockwave. Either that or a gremlin. Like, I could imagine Shockwave being a gremlin. It's a car that randomly causes damage and explodes if you rear end it right. It's a mayhem vehicle. And totally, Shockwave would have been a part of a mayhem vehicle. So, that's it for today's video. My grade for the Shockwave Mazda 8 is going to be an A-class vehicle. Okay, this is an A-class, and I give it A-class instead of S-class because the The hood doesn't open as far as you would like, and there's always a trouble with the steering, and also the fact that the doors can go missing because I missed one of my doors. But this is a decent vehicle mode, really, really good, better than average, amazing. And before I let you go, I keep having this question that keeps sticking in my head, and my question is, if they did alternators again, if they tried to do a toy line like this again, are you like me? And do you believe that Megatron would be a Cybertruck? Like, I believe Megatron would be that super steel, shiny Cybertruck. It just seems like it's perfect for Megatron. I've laid my hands on a Cybertruck, and I can actually imagine how it transforms. Like, definitely, Megatron's legs become the back of the Cybertruck because it's got that weird grill thing that goes up to the roof. And I think that would be perfect little etchings for the front of Megatron's legs. And then the entire front end can fold down into like a hollow section. The head can pop up. I think it'd work out pretty well. It just feels like the right vehicle for Megatron. And I'm tired of Megatron being a tank. I want to see Megatron in something else. I want to see Megatron in some other form that isn't a tank, that isn't a T-Rex, that isn't a dragon, that isn't a gun. I want to see them actually try to be creative with Megatron. Be creative, please. So one day I hope to get the Cybertruck Megatron. And whenever I get a chance to actually meet with some third-party Transformers people, I'm going to bring that up to them as well and see if we can't, do something with that. Because I feel in my heart that a Megatron that transforms into a Cybertruck would just work. It would just work well. It would look nice. It would be sleek. It'd be sweet. And it feels like the right vehicle for Megatron to become. But that's my little tangent for the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I've enjoyed making it. Cream has enjoyed sleeping through it, haven't you, Cream? You've enjoyed sleeping through the entire thing because that's how you got fat. You're just a sleepy guy. You're just a sleepy guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye-bye for now.